Hey, my name's Seth Sherlock. I ride for Intense Factory Racing, and we're going to be testing between the Intense Tracer 2.9 and 2.7.9 and see which one I'm going to be racing for the 2023 Enduro World Cup season. Everything's identical between them, except this one has a mixed wheel size between front and back, and this one is full 2.9. I also have a coil shock on this one and an air shock on that one, and we'll be switching between those two in the next few days. Yeah, so just got a lap done on the Tracer 2.7.9, and I started with this bike because I raced the entire last season on it. I'm super familiar with it. The only thing different from last year is I started on a coil shock because I wanted to try something out and like switch it up a little bit. And I'm so familiar with the bike, I may as well switch one thing. I really like the smaller rear wheel. It really helps you scrub low, and on steeper terrain in the past, it's really helped get a little more like rear wheel clearance, so you're not hitting your butt off the wheel. And it's really good for cornering. I find on tighter corners, the rear wheel really helps bring the bike around. You can really control it pretty easily. And it's also really playful, so you can hop around, do some jibs, have fun. And it's a little easier to move it around like that with the smaller rear wheel. Just finished my session on the Intense Tracer 2.9, and my first impressions are that this bike is super fast through rougher terrain. Like on the square edge stuff, the rock gardens and all that, it really carries its speed super well. It also has an increase in smoothness through that stuff because of the bigger rear tire. Like you can hit square edges and you don't really notice quite as much. So that's quite forgiving and very nice. And it's also very stable. On the techier stuff and the turns, it's a little harder to get the bike loose. So that's quite nice. It's very forgiving. All right, day 2 of testing, and we're here at a SoCal staple of a downhill track. And so the plan is to test a little bit more downhilly terrain. This is pretty rough and pretty high speed, so quite different from what we rode yesterday. Another thing I was testing out today was coil versus air shock, and I've kind of landed on the coil. I quite liked how it smoothed out the smaller bumps, which kind of offset the negatives of the smaller rear wheel. So I really like that. And another aspect of the smaller rear wheel is a shorter guy like me, I'm like 5'9" or 10. There's definitely a lot more space to move around the back of the bike with the smaller rear wheel. I'm not going to hit my butt on it so much, and I can kind of move around a little more in the tighter stuff. So I think that'll be a big benefit of it. Right, day 3 of testing here in Cali, and we've tested all sorts of stuff up until this point. First day we tested some more flowy, like carry your speed stuff. Second day we had a nice downhill track. And on day 3 here, we got another sort of different downhill track here in SoCal. So I've kind of settled on the Tracer 2.7.9. I liked how it kind of moved around in the tighter stuff. And I'm generally just kind of more used to it because I've been riding this bike for quite a while now. So that's kind of the decision I've landed on. Today we're going to be testing some more suspension stuff between air and coil. And I've also brought the Tracer 2.9 to see, maybe we'll do another lap on that just to confirm some things. Well, we're all done testing here in SoCal, and at the end of the day, it was super productive. I'm happy I landed on the 279, and feel like I got some work done on the setup of this bike with the coil shock. So the differences between the bikes, like, I think the Tracer 29's really carries its speed well for flowier stuff, flatter stuff, all of that. It's very stable. When you get a little offline or you get a little sketchy, it's pretty good for that. The 279, I like it's a little more maneuverable in the tighter stuff, and I just generally feel quite comfortable on it because I've had a lot of time on it. So happy with the decision and happy with what we got done.